and happy Tuesday to you. Today is Tuesday, November the 12th. That's right. November the 12th. That's right. 2024, and we're here at 901 Main Street in the heart of Old Town Conyers. We're in the Assembly Hall, and we're calling our meeting to order. We have just one more BOC meeting before this year wraps up. Absolutely. We're almost there. We've got one more meeting to conduct the people's business, and we have a robust agenda today. So we're going to try to stay on track this morning and focus all the way through. We do have a zoning hearing on Thursday, this coming Thursday, to take care of the people's business as well. But in terms of our BOC meetings, there's only one meeting left for this calendar year. Commissioners, as we are calling this meeting to order, I want to, at this time, call up Pastor Lloyd from the Fellowship of Jesus Christ Church. Is Pastor Lloyd here? Don't see Pastor Lloyd here. That's okay. We always have people who are always ready. So I'm going to call up Deputy Director Jameson. Come on up, Deputy Director Jameson, and lead us in a. One thing about our leaders, they're always ready. Yes.
Ready we are. Good morning, Chairman, Madam Commissioners.
Good morning.
Can we pray? Kind Father, we thank you for today. We thank you that this is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. There's so much to be thankful for, and we just wanted to pause to say thank you. In a world full of uncertainties, in a world full of question marks, we thank you that you still got the whole world in your hands. So God, we thank you today that we have an opportunity to do the people's business here in Rockdale. We thank you for leading us. We thank you for guiding us. We thank you, God, that Rockdale is a place where your hand and your spirit still reside. So we thank you and we trust, God, that as we move forward, Father, we will move forward in the most excellent way because we trust you, we believe you, and we thank you. So we thank you for our leaders. We thank you for our elected officials. We thank you for our executive leadership staff. We thank you for all the workers in Rockdale County that as they serve Rockdale County, they serve it with all of their hearts and their minds and their bodies. We thank you for our innovation. We thank you for our commitment to hard work, God, because that's what you have called us to, and this is what you take delight in. We thank you for it, and we bless you for it. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Deputy Director Jameson from Rockdale Water Resources. Deputy Director Jameson is chiefly responsible for running and operating our customer service center for Rockdale Water Resources. He is one of the two deputy directors who serve and support the Rockdale Water Resources Department. So we thank you for the fine work that you do, and we always appreciate you being ready. Yes. Commissioners, as we move forward, we have a couple of special recognitions and presentations this morning, and we want to start with the Honorable Chief Judge Robert Mumford Appreciation Day Proclamation. Come on up, Judge. Y'all, let's give Judge Mumford a round of applause as he's making his way up. Absolutely. Judge, like me, the clock is ticking for you as well. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to retirement.
Let's see who has I have it right here. All right. I'm going to yield to Commissioner Williams and give her the pleasure of reading the proclamation as we honor Judge Mumford at this time.
One of my favorite judges. A proclamation. Whereas it is with great honor and esteem that Rockdale County acknowledges the exceptional service and dedication of Judge Robert Mumford, Superior Court Judge at the Rockdale County Courthouse, who has diligently aided the community for nearly 50 years And whereas Judge Mumford has exemplified exceptional professionalism and leadership by establishing and presiding over the Rockdale County Adult Drug Court Program, which prioritizes drug treatment over incarceration for qualified individuals, reflecting his commitment to rehabilitation and community well-being. And whereas his efforts have included invaluable service to the court as a dedicated member of the Superior Court and serving as an assistant district attorney, and state representative for Rockdale County. And whereas Judge Mumford has served as a mentor and a vital contributor to his community, further enriching it through active involvement with Crossroads United Methodist Church and the Rockdale Historical Society, and whereas his dedication extends beyond professional duties as he actively serves on the Nancy Gwynn Library Board, promoting education and literacy, and whereas Judge Mumford is supported by his loving wife, Betty Jo Mumford, whose partnership has contributed to his successful public service. Whereas the residents of Rockdale County have greatly benefited from Judge Mumford's lifelong commitment and unforgettable service, and his retirement marks the end of a remarkable era of service and excellence. Now therefore we, the members of the Board of Commissioners of Rockdale County, do hereby proclaim November 22nd in Rockdale 2024 in Rockdale County as Judge Robert Mumford Appreciation Day. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 12th day of November 2024. Signed, Oz Nesbitt, Senior Chairman, Sherry L. Washington, Commissioner Post 1, and Doreen Williams, Commissioner Post 2.
Come on, Commissioner. Let's come on.
Get my pen aside.
Let's give the judge another round of applause. Judge, please, you got a few words I'm sure you want to share with us.
I do.
I want you to talk into the mic. The young
All
lady
right.
told me back there.
I'm going to talk into the mic. It's kind of hard to speak to the audience, but the first thing I want to do is I want to thank the people of Rockdale County for the trust that they put in me. Really, since I think I was first elected in 1982. That's a long time ago. I was an assistant district attorney in Rockdale County before that, when Mr. Nix was the public defender. You remember that? Of course. And I think Randy Mills was the mayor at that time also, probably, at any rate. So that's been a long time, and the people have given me this opportunity to serve them, and I really appreciate it. I again want to thank these commissioners for the great work that you've done and the support that you've given the courts. It's been great. And I want to recognize, of course, my wife, who has suffered long and hard with me, but also my lovely staff. Would y'all stand up, please? Laquita Buckhart, Sharon McGuire, and Pam Pulliam. And whatever success I have had, I owe to the University of Georgia Law School and those three ladies right there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge. I'm going to yield to both of the commissioners for just a couple additional words. Commissioner Washington, any comments regarding Judge Mumford?
Sure. Judge Mumford, words cannot express the joy that I've had in not just appearing before you, but being tutored by you throughout the years. We've had some good times, some great laughs, but you're one of the most efficient, effective, and fair jurists that I have had the pleasure to be in front of, and words cannot express my gratitude for all that you've done for not just this county, but for me individually. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
So Judge Mumford and I go back to, well before I was elected. We have a mutual friend that we have kept in touch with. But I love Judge Mumford's smile and his warm outreach and his willing to work with me, particularly on the Stepping Up initiative and with the jail and the courts and the accountability courts. I really appreciate you. I will miss seeing you around. So you better show up sometimes.
Judge Mumford, let me just say that certainly most everyone in the county who's come in contact with you have had an opportunity to encounter your raw, real, and very relevant approach to life in general. I want to say thank you for the support that you've given this board and our executive leadership team in terms of the judicial administrative complex that is currently under construction as we speak. Your vision matched our vision about the future for Rockdale County as a whole, and you did not spare any of your words or your sentiments about the future of this county in terms of operating a facility that will speak to the forward progress of Rockdale. So I personally and professionally appreciate that, because it takes people in your position as the Chief Superior Court Judge to be able to identify with the global needs in our community when we talk about an administrative building, but not just that, the expansion of the courthouse itself, and you being the chief judge over there understand, and we certainly do appreciate your support. Y'all give Judge Mumford another round.
I have one more comment I thought of that I should have said. And that is, with our restorative justice complex that's being renovated as we speak, that middle section of that building will be a transitional bed space. That was Judge Mumford's request and suggestion, that we have some place to take folks who are transitioning out of incarceration and need a place to stay for a few days while their living situation gets settled. And that is coming into play, and that is recognized at the state level. That's innovative, and we appreciate that, your input on that.
Thank you all again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you so much. Okay, Commissioners, one other proclamation that is very important, and we do this one, I think, on an annual basis. None of us would be where we are and who we are without the help of educators. So the Retired Educators Proclamation, Retired Educators Month Proclamation will be presented by Commissioner Washington. Commissioner?
Good morning. Whereas Governor Brian Kemp proclaimed Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, as Retired Educators Day in Georgia, and whereas there are more than 142,000 retired educators in Georgia, and more than 220 retired educators registered with the Rockdale County Retired Educators Association, and whereas these retired educators donate numerous volunteer service hours each year and make invaluable contributions to the youth in the community, Rockdale Retired Educators Association has contributed more than $65,000 in teacher scholarships, provided books to youth, birth through 4 years of age, distributed school supplies, substituted in public schools, and supported the Rockdale Emergency Relief, And whereas celebrating our retired educators provides an essential opportunity to spotlight their unwavering service to Rockdale County and to Georgia, and the unparalleled contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make to enhance the quality of life of our youth and citizens. And whereas Rockdale County praises our retired educators for the vital role that they have played in shaping the education system, the lives of our youth, and of families in the communities we call home. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners, do hereby salute our retired educators for being outstanding community examples and celebrate with them this special day of significance by declaring November 12, 2024 as Rockdale Retired Educators Day, whereby we will show our appreciation and call upon all citizens of Rockdale County to observe the day in an appropriate manner that honors retired educators. Wherefore, we hereunto set our hands and cause the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 12th day of November 2024. Oz Nesbitt, Senior Chairman, Sherry L. Washington, Commissioner, Post 1, and Doreen Williams, Commissioner, Post 2.
Are there any, yes, come on up and let's give the retired educators a round of applause. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much.
We want to give you an opportunity to share a few words. We always want to. Absolutely, absolutely. It would. I got to get you to speak into the mic. It wouldn't be like a teacher if you didn't talk into that microphone there. No, I need you to turn around and come on, educator. Speak like you're speaking to the classroom. Absolutely.
And in truth, we listen more than we speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope. There's a famous cartoon where the little girl comes home and she says, "It was a great day. We played, we had blocks, we did numbers, we learned about new languages." It would have been perfect if that woman just didn't talk all day at the front of the room. And so we never want that to happen. But it's a wonderful journey to have been educated in Rockdale County schools, taught in Rockdale County schools, seen a son grow through Rockdale County schools. It is a privilege to teach. And that's why so many of us continue to be involved as retired educators. We are grateful for the support that schools have from a county like Rockdale. So thank you to you. Thank you to each of you. May you also sometimes enjoy the joys of retirement where you choose your path and then are open to those opportunities. So many, many thanks.
Thank you. Let's give our retired educators another round of applause. Absolutely. So, Dr. Williams, you're the educator up here, so I got to start with you in terms of additional comments to our retired educators.
Well, I think you're so right that it's kind of a lifelong pursuit for those of us who have been teachers. It doesn't really stop just because you're not in a structured classroom anymore. And it is something that impacts students and parents and other teachers. You learn so much from other teachers. It was, I enjoyed my 30-year career as a teacher, and a lot of that permeates what I still feel and do as I move forward. So thank you so much for being here and being part of the Rockdale County Retired Teachers Association.
Commissioner Washington.
My hat always goes off to educators, both current and retired, and even those that are thinking that this might be something that they want to do. As Ms. Greco said, I was in the classroom, I was a parapro for a year, and I remember thinking, I started right when during the beginning of school, and I remember by fall break, I was like, I don't know how they do this every day for 30 years. So it definitely wasn't my calling, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every day that I spent actually at Pine Street Elementary in the first grade, helping to educate those children. And incidentally, I've seen several of the children that were in that class that I taught, and they have gone on to be great citizens. So I can see where everybody feels as if it's truly a reward to be an educator and be of service to the community. So congratulations to our retired educators, and yeah, that's it.
Well, I just want to say all of us can think about our favorite teacher. Each of us, regardless of our age, can always think about that classroom teacher, coach, teacher, mentor that we had as young people coming along in the educational system. None of us would be where we are without teachers, without educators. So we thank you, and certainly the work that you all continue to do with the Retired Educators Association. We do appreciate your presence, and I love your energy. Let's give them another round of applause. Commissioners, moving right on, item number 4, the approval of the agenda this morning.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 5 is the approval of the minutes from October 22nd, 2024. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Unfinished business, item number 6, Executive Director Rutledge.
Okay, item 471 is rezoning case 2024-12, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 2037 Southeast Old Salem Road from AR Agricultural Residential to R1 Single Family Residential to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Let's talk about it first.
Would you like to bring up Interim Director
Yeah,
Wheeler to the
yes.
podium? Thank you.
And just before Interim Director Wheeler, let me just say about planning and development and Director Wheeler real quick. I'm clearly aware, keenly aware, that the Planning and Development Department has been inundated over the last 90-plus days with a lot of development, a lot of work that's happening in Rockdale County, a lot of change. And his department has really been at the center of it all. I'm going to stop now, and Director, will you tell us what's happening here?
Good morning, Chairman, Madam Commissioners. As you recall, this applicant has brought a petition before you to rezone 3 lots located right next to Lambeth Way subdivision. There has been ongoing discussions with the HOA and the applicant to see if they can come to some form of agreement regarding their development of those 3 lots. At this point in time, it has been a difficult challenge of getting both of them in the same room or on the same page. We actually got in contact with the HOA representative, had their contact information, and he has requested a meeting to discuss the actual project and to get some of those clarification concerns addressed. However, now it seems like we're having a hard time getting a hold of the applicant. After we talked to him, he said that he was going to present a few items to the HOA to see if they would be in agreement with the architectural elements of the proposed houses, as well as the other stipulations that this board would like for the property to adhere to. So right now we are still efforting a conversation between both parties. It seems that once we get a hold of one party, the other party goes dormant or goes dark on us, and a week later they pop back up again. So at this point, we're still pretty much kind of where we are at the same standpoint. There isn't an agreement between the HOA and the applicant. However, again, the applicant has indicated that, again, they would like to have access off Lambeth Way. I've already spoken to Director Kelly. His desire is to have access off Old Salem Road, where all 3 lots do a shared driveway. The applicant is, again, open to the HOA, join the HOA, but there has to be certain agreements that they'll feel comfortable with. The HOA is open to that, but they want to know specifically what architectural requirements that they want to present, and would they be okay with that? So that's where we are at this point. And so forth.
Commissioners, let me just say this, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Washington, as I stated earlier at the beginning of this meeting, the clock is ticking. There's only one BOC meeting left. Communication is key. In fact, in this instance, and all of the business that's before us, communication is paramount. This department and its leadership has been tasked with trying to mediate and communicate with both parties. And as you just heard him articulate, that when they get one party in front of them, then they're searching for the other, and vice versa. We are out of time. Any comments from either one of you?
Well, I'd like to know why Director Kelly thinks that would be a better plan to come off of Old Salem Road,
Come on up, Director.
because that's so close to Flat Shoals Road in that intersection. It seems to me that it would be less, create less problems if they entered at Lambeth Way.
Director Kelly?
Good morning, Commissioner Williams. Good morning, Commissioners and Chairman. So the way the alignment sets up coming into Lambeth Way, they have a monument. So sometimes that's going to make them have to go out and turn right and come all the way back around, make U-turns, and it's not really designed for that. So the easiest way for them to get out without having to do roundabouts and U's and everything else would be to go to Old Salem.
Can
Now,
we substitute the word easiest with safest?
correct.
Okay.
So that would eliminate some of the pinch points you might have coming in and then somebody's coming out. You do have a certain amount of distance between the main road and that intersection, so there's enough space for them to get out on the Old Salem and make their
Even if they're
decisions.
going to turn left?
There's space there versus a monument that if you come out on Lambeth is right there in your way.
Okay. So I would move to,
So Commissioner Washington, you have some
So
comments?
I know, Chairman, I understand we are very close, but we still have one more BOC meeting,
We
and
do.
they are so close. One of my concerns with this entire project is the condition of the first house that was there. When I don't know if you all watched the planning commission meeting, but the residents of the subdivision were very concerned about the condition of the house. And without them being a part of the subdivision and without them being a part of something that can regulate the people that are in these houses, I don't feel comfortable with the same people giving them 3 houses, because they couldn't take care of the one. And without the restrictions of a subdivision, I just don't think that they're going to be good stewards of those 3 properties. So I would ask that we give them this month to get this together, because I would be more inclined to approve this if I know that they have the covenants of the subdivision to guide the way that they are treated, the way that they treat these properties. And from what I understand, the owners don't even live here. They live somewhere else. So, and the fact that it's hard for everybody to get in touch with the owners now, if there were problems in the future, it's going to be just as hard to get in touch with them. So I really would like to defer this one more month to see if we can come to some kind of resolution on the type of covenants that would be around this property.
and that was the motion I was going to make,
Okay.
was to defer it one more time, but understanding we will make a decision
In
at the next
December.
board meeting.
Yes.
All right, so commissioners, technically,
is that your
what's your
motion?
pleasure? Make the motion.
I move that we defer this rezoning case until the next BOC meeting.
A second.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're down to the next item, 2024-508.
Okay, item 508 is rezoning case 2024-15, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 2420 Sigmund Road from C2 General Commercial to MRU Mixed Residential Uses, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading, and I would also ask that Interim Director Wheeler come back to the podium as the applicant has submitted conditions to consider.
Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am. Again, good morning.
And I need your Saturday morning voice on this one.
Yeah, sorry.
If you would, Deputy Director Wheeler, just give me your Saturday morning voice.
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. I'm playing.
Saturday morning voice means,
Pick it up a little bit.
no, not at
that's
my
not
house.
Saturday. Not at my house either.
For this applicant, this applicant has submitted a rezoning application before you for consideration to rezone the subject property to a mixed residential use zoning district. The applicant did submit proposed landscape conditions and tree planting conditions to staff to review. Staff has reviewed those conditions and is in agreement with those conditions that they submitted. We do not see any issues with those being added to the rezoning application if the board chooses to approve this rezoning application.
So with those conditions that they put on, I had a conversation this morning. There is one piece that says that any of the facade siding would all be horizontal, but I want to make sure that the condition says that there can be some vertical also. Is that in this?
Yes, ma'am. We can make a note to include that in there as well.
Okay.
I remember it saying horizontal, but I can make a change to include vertical in there too.
Yes, yes.
So we, I think I received these this weekend, and I was under the weather this weekend, and I need to defer this one more time so that I can look at all the conditions and make any other recommendations. So my motion is to defer this one more to the next BOC meeting so that we can look at the proposed conditions.
Chairman?
Well, I'm going to yield to the pleasure of the two of you all. And y'all want to pack that last meeting with more work, so here we go. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
You have a motion for deferral on the table.
It's been properly motioned.
Okay.
Okay, look like that motion
Motion
dies if there's no second. Let me just say this. I don't want you wondering, I'm ready to move forward here. And I think that on this particular one, I've heard more than enough on it. I'm where I need to be, and I'm ready to make a decision.
So, and I have worked spent quite a few hours working on this particular piece of property also. And
What's your pleasure, Commissioner?
I move to approve the second read and adopt this ordinance.
I second that motion. It has been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm abstaining.
All abstain. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Washington is abstaining. This motion carries. This one is approved. All right. Next item, please.
Okay, we are now under the regular agenda. Item 544 is with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council through the District Attorney's Office for the Youth Intervention Enrichment and Learning by Design Yield Grant. The amount is $95,401. This is no match, and the term is October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 545 is with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council through the State Court for the DUI Court Supervised Treatment Program grant application. The amount is $43,327 with a $7,646 match required.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 546 is with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council through the Superior Court for Drug Court Supervised Treatment Program Grant Application. The amount is $36,618 with a $4,993 match required.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 547 is with Abbeville Commissioning LLC through the General Services Department for the Judicial Administrative Complex Building Commissioning Services. The amount is $693,831. This is through construction completion and estimated date of January 2027. This is judicial complex funded.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 548 is with the Georgia Power Company through the General Services Department for a judicial administrative complex. This is the relocation of the overhead power lines to underground along Pine Street. The amount is $70,758.58. It's for 1 year and it's judicial complex funded.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 549 is with the Enterprise Fleet Management through the General Services Fleet Division Department for Fleet Replacement Plan. This is change order number 20 to contract 2022-164. This is for one ADA prisoner transport van for the Sheriff's Office. The amount is $15,580.44 per year. This is host funded and submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second that.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 550 is with GoGov Incorporated through Technology Services Department. This is for the Citizen Request Management for citizen notifications and alerts. This is change order number 1 to contract 2024-08. It's a price increase to $16,020 annually. Previously, it was $14,976 annually, and it's to renew the contract through February 28, 2026.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 551 is with Comcast Enterprise through Technology Services Department. This is for the Wheeler Park ENS Circuit Fiber Service. It's $430.92 per month with a total of $25,855.20 for 60 months.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 552 is with Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation Solid Waste Trust Fund for the Planning and Development Code Enforcement Division. A joint application with the City of Conyers for 2024-2025 Blight Reduction and Code Enforcement Efforts, BRACE grant application. The amount is $10,000 with no match. The term is November 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2025.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 553 is with Crown Castle, formerly known as Pinnacle Towers LLC, through the Emergency Management Agency. This is for the tower site lease at 2120 Farmer Road. Change order number 7 to contract 2007-45 for the rent escalation. The cost of the county increased monthly rate by 5% from $1,096.98 per month to $1,151.83 per month, and this is the Emergency 911 Tower Fund.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 554 is with the Crown Castle, formerly known as Pinnacle Towers, through the Water Resources Department. This is for the tower site lease at 2520 Tatum Road. It's change order number 3 to contract 2021-06 for rent escalation. The cost of the county increased monthly rate by 3% from $568.22 per month to $585.27 per month.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 555 is with the Georgia Department of Transportation through the Transportation Department for the Off-System Safety Projects Acknowledgement page for local government. This is signature only and safety improvements to reduce the frequency and severity of crashes.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 556 is with the Conyers Rockdale Economic Development Council through the Finance Department. This is a memorandum of understanding for congressionally directed spending workforce development program, electric vehicle training, in an amount not to exceed $300,000 through April 30th, 2027.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 557 is to the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council through the Finance Department. This is delegating signing authority for a signature authorization letter, adding the CFO, the Deputy CFO, and grants compliance officers. This replaces Contract 2020-160.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 560 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Delta Municipal for 5/8 T10 meters Neptune activations. The amount is $20,295.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 561 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Macon Supply ductile iron pipe valve box with water lid. The amount is $18,202, and this is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 562 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Yancey. This is repairs to the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office Jail Generator Number 1. The amount is $88,399.02. This is host funded and submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 563 is a requisition through the Sheriff's Office for GMK Audio and Visual LLC for the audio visual systems. For GMK Audio Video is a sole source for RTI equipment. The amount is $28,854, and this is through the Sheriff's Discretionary Fund.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 564 is a requisition through the Sheriff's Office for Law and Order Technology for the Win 11 Pro Havis docking station for Panasonic's Toughbook and Lind i20 Watt 12-32 volt input car charger. The amount is $32,912, and this is through the Sheriff's Discretionary Fund.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item.
Item 565 is a list of surplus equipment from the following departments: the Sheriff's Office, EMA, Senior Services, Accountability State Court, Public Relations, Parks and Recreation, and Water Resources through ESG.
I move to declare these items as surplus as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Item 566 is an ordinance to make and provide appropriations for the period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025, to make and provide such appropriations for the operations of the Rockdale County government, its departments, boards, and other agencies and funds, including all elected officers and their employees, to provide for the control and administration of all funds of such agencies from all sources, to provide an effective date, to repeal conflicting ordinances and resolutions, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
So I move to approve the first reading of this ordinance as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 567 is a transfer of property titles to the Board of Commissioners office, and these will be submitted for ratification. A, transfer from Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG, to Rockdale County, Georgia, to the Public Facilities Authority, 943 Court Street, 945 Court Street, 958 Millstead Avenue, 962 Millstead Avenue, 969 Pine Street, 981 Millstead Avenue, 920 Main Street. B, transfer from Rockdale County, Georgia to the Public Facilities Authority, North Main Street, parcels C-18-1-16A, C-18-1-16C, and C-18-1-16D. C, transfer from the Association County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG, to Rockdale County, Georgia, 1506 Rockbridge Road, 1000 Sigmund Road Northeast, 2345, 2365, 2385 Sigmund Industrial Court Northeast, 911 Chambers Drive Northwest, 2120 Farmer Road Northwest, 2570 Old Covington Highway Southwest, and 1329 Portman Drive Southeast.
I move to ratify these property titles as presented.
I second.
It's been properly motioned and second. We welcome questions and comments.
Could we have an explanation of all of this?
Executive Director
Absolutely.
Rutledge.
Yes, we can.
I don't think, not only perhaps the commissioners, but a lot of folks watching and listening are not sure what this involves. Can you break it down?
Okay, so these titles of these properties have already been transferred into Rockdale County's name. They were held in authorities' names, like the Water and Sewer Authority and the Public Facilities Authority and ACCG, Association County Commissioners of Georgia, until we pay them off and they become transferred into the Rockdale County government's name.
So under A, are these all properties to be demolished?
Some of them have been demolished
Right.
already.
And the rest will be?
No, this doesn't
No.
necessarily mean that the land or the building has been demolished. What it means is the land is titled in the county's name.
Okay.
But this says to the Public Facilities Authority.
That's right. They hold the, since they're an authority, they're holding it, so,
For the
Right.
purposes of the bonds.
Yes.
That's why they had to be transferred over to the Public Facilities Authority.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. What about these others, the Rockbridge Road, Sigmund Road, that C transfer?
So when they were initially financed, they were financed through ACCG, and now Rockdale County holds title. So where the animal control sits, the fire station, and then Old Covington, which is where RDOT is, Portman, those.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
did that cover it?
Okay. All right.
We had a motion and a second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Very good. And thank you for explaining that and bringing clarification. Next item, please.
Item 568 is through the Board of Commissioners office, the purchase of 1088 West Avenue. Total purchase price $863,548.75, and 1096 West Avenue, total purchase price of $848,659.25. These are the buildings for the Tax Commissioner's office, to include a 5-year lease to the Bank of America for the existing ATM to remain at 1088 West Avenue. The amount is $1,000 per month revenue from the ATM lease, and this is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify these purchases as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions?
How long is the lease to the Bank of America? Is that?
5 years for
And
the
then-
ATM.
Okay, and then what happens after that?
There's options to renew.
Okay, all right.
Motion carries.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
That's all right.
We've already closed it out. Is that correct?
You
I
have
thought
a
we had
motion,
a-
a second, and then you just need a vote.
Right.
Okay, it's been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, now we did it.
All
Topped
right.
it off.
Yes, okay. We're almost there, y'all. Item 569 is with CMES Incorporated through the Transportation Department. This is for Courtesy Parkway extension over I-20 from Flat Shoals to Old Covington Highway. The amount is $31,995,229.51. This is for 24 months and it's SPLOST funded.
I move to defer this contract until the next regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners voting session.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let me just say this one comment on that one. As multiple of our projects are SPLOST funding, this particular one, Courtesy Parkway, again, is a project that has been talked about here in Rockdale County long before I landed here. And I just want to say thanks to this BOC for pulling the trigger to push this project forward, working with our transportation department. But a big hats off to our SPLOST committee who make sure these projects, and I also want to go on record saying this as well, Rockdale County cannot operate without SPLOST dollars. This county, the second smallest county geographically in the state of Georgia, we cannot, whether you're talking about public safety, parks and recreation, senior services, and certainly transportation projects, we must have SPLOST dollars here in Rockdale County in order to operate and continue to move forward. So hats off to all of our citizens and everyone who is a primary contributor to SPLOST. It's critical to the success of this county that we have SPLOST and that we continue to move forward to support these very critical needed projects to keep our community up and running. So I just wanted to point that out and just reflect that for the record. I know that we're going to take this matter up as we close out this year, but I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to point that out. Hats off to our SPLOST committee. Absolutely. So we close this one out.
We have.
All right. Last item.
So item 570 is with the Georgia Department of Community Health through the Parks and Recreation Senior Services Division. This is a request to apply for state licensure due to change in the service requirements. The term is December 2024 through December 2025.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, down to public comment.
All right.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask that Executive Director Rutledge, if you would read the disclaimer, please.
I will. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted. Mr. Chairman, before we get started this morning on public comment, I just want to give a reminder to you and the board that we are in active litigation with BioLab, and we do have quite a list of items that are to be heard at the zoning public hearing on the 14th that we won't hear this morning. If you speak in general terms, that's all right when it comes to these items that are going through the public hearing process, but if you're addressing a specific case, we will need you to come to the public hearing.
I certainly do appreciate that. The first person we will call up for public comment is Mr. George Kelichek. Come on up, Mr. Kelichek.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners, citizens of Rockdale County. Bring you 3 pieces of information this morning. The following information has been shared with deputy directors and directors. Number one, regarding planning and development. Since '09, Rockdale County citizens have experienced 891,128 gallons in raw sewage spillage, with 296,400 gallons since 2022 due to aggressive development and heavy rains, with over 19% of these spills being over $10,000, which had to be provided to the EPD. Number two, citizens of Rockdale County have paid the EPD $42,663 in fines due to an inadequate water and sewerage items. Number two, the information regarding the watershed protection zoning is in your hands regarding Section 206 since 1976. The Corps of Engineers approved via the Clean Water Act, Section 404 in 1992 for the protection and also the building and maintenance of this watershed. But since best practices have not been utilized, we have over 30 acres or 30 football fields of silt behind the old McElroy Mill Dam. And according to the 2022 LIDOR study from the USGS, according to Amanda Walling, we now have an additional 40 feet acre silt in the northern part of our reservoir. Thirdly, a comprehensive land use assessment such as DeKalb County must be completed so everyone understands the current land use in Rockdale County and we can possess a gold standard of sustainability in this county. So currently you have 6,500 residents that are still not out of the ground. Coming Thursday, you have approximately another 1,000 to either deny or approve. Based upon this, you have 38,000 citizens coming into this county by 2050. Based upon that, you've got about 4,500 homeowners, or 316 per year. Well, with 7,500 residences, simply stated, Rockdale County is overbuilt. It's plain and simple. I hope you take these recommendations to heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kellichek, and thank you for all that you do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. Next up, Jess Stevens. Come on up, Ms. Stevens. Come on up. Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to attend these meetings. Special thank you to the board and the staff and the respective Rockdale County employees. I've been a resident for 20-something years, so I love Rockdale to heart. But I have questions. And it's just not me. I'm representing my community subdivision of over 300 homes, which is a lot of residents. And the question that's being asked is, why in the county are we having so many gas stations, vape shops, storage units, and liquor stores? They came to me, I'm like, I don't know, but next meeting I'll ask why. So that's my question. And secondly, Biolab situation, it was blasting on the news this morning that they reopened and they don't understand why, and resident. Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank
Case
you,
closed, I'm
Counselor.
sorry.
Thank you so much. So, Ms. Stevens, it's okay, you don't have to run away. He was just pointing out a clear technical piece that we cannot talk about. Let me say this about the residents in the subdivision that you represent. I want to give you two pieces of information so you can get the clarification regarding the concerns about development or gas stations or different retail outlets that are opening up throughout the community. First, I'd like to direct you to our interim director of planning and development, the planning and development department, which is led by interim director Chris Wheeler. In addition to Chris Wheeler, I do want to encourage you to reach out to the Conyers Rockdale Economic Development Council. Mr. Kevin Hanna serves as the executive director of economic development. I think if you take a moment and go over to Mr. Hanna's office, he could really educate you and inform you how things are done by both the city and the county government in terms of retail outlets. Also, he can clear up some of the confusion about what's really in the county, what's really in the city. And the word that I like to put emphasis on is the word community as a whole, because we're so small and it's so difficult oftentimes for citizens to distinguish when they're in the city or when they're in the county. But he can help you. Take a moment, perhaps at the close of this meeting, and get Mr. Wheeler's card and see can you set up an opportunity to go by his office and talk with him and learn about the practices and principles in terms of ordinances we as a board have to follow. And then when you get a chance, the Conyers-Rockdale Economic Development Council, again, Mr. Hanna, could certainly educate you about how the decisions are made in our community as a whole, okay?
Okay.
But thank you for representing your community. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so
all.
much.
Okay.
Chris Mize. Chris Mize. She's already left. Absolutely. We'll keep it moving. Kelly Holt. Also left. Absolutely. I have to call their names anyway by the record since they actually submitted a red comment card. I'm down to board comments, and we're going to start with Commissioner Washington.
Okay. First one, happy belated Veterans Day to all of our veterans. I think, was it 3 years ago, Dr. Williams, you suggested that we display the green light.
The Green Light
And
Initiative.
yes, and it's good to see them up and out. It makes you remember our veterans every time you see it and all of the sacrifices that they and their families have made. So happy belated Veterans Day to all of our veterans. The next thing is me and along with the 100 Black men of Rockdale, it's the 100 Black Men of New Rock, which is a new organization in Rockdale and Newton County, as well as the Men of Omega Psi Phi, the new chapter. We are hosting a winter coat and suitcase drive for the children that are in DFAC's custody. The drop-off location is the Rockdale County Administration Building, which is 958 Millstead Avenue, Conyers, Georgia 30012. We're asking for new or slightly used coats and suitcases. So we've done this before, and I would really ask for new or very slightly used. I think I need to say that because some of the suitcases that we did receive in the past look like I took them to college in my freshman year. They were that outdated. And one of the things that we have to remember is that when children are taken when they go into DFAC's custody, this is one of the most difficult days of their lives. And often the children are being moved so fast they don't have luggage, so they have to put them in trash bags. And I've always thought that was a bit humiliating for the children to have to go from their homes to DFAC's custody with these trash bags. So that's why I've done these suitcase drives over the years. But when they get suitcases that look like the trash bags would have been a better option, I don't think that, for me, this isn't an opportunity for you to clean out your closet and get rid of your old suitcases. This is an opportunity for these children that are going through something that is traumatic, and most of the time is through no fault of their own that they're having to leave their homes, to have some kind of dignity and have some place to put their belongings that is their own. So I'm asking for, if it is a used suitcase, for it to be something that they could have a sense of pride in, and as well as the coats. They'll be wearing these coats to school. So, we want to make sure that these children have dignity and respect with this coat drive. So the times were from the 11th through the 15th, so this week. But I promise you, if you bring them next week, we'll still take them. So once again, the drop-off location is at the administration building. Please bring new or very gently used suitcases or coats for children. all ages, all sizes, so whatever you bring, we would be greatly appreciated.
So I'm going to jump in on
Okay.
Commissioner Washington just a little bit. I want to jump in to echo her effort because she's done this before. I'm so glad to see that she has support from these other two nonprofit agencies that are going to assist with this very, very needed cause. Let me just go ahead and say, and she said slightly, I'm going to remove from saying that and just say if you're in a position to bless any of these young people who are going through this transition in their lives, sometimes they're moving from pillar to post, okay? And these young people need to be able to maintain their self-esteem, their self-confidence as they're moving through the school and classroom. The world is the world, and sometimes it can be ugly, cruel, and mean. And other children can be that way as well. So we need to make sure that we dress these young people. If you're in a position to bless, I'm asking that you get a new coat, a new piece of luggage, and bless that child and make him or her, and make them proud and give them an opportunity to be dignified as they move in these already crucial and critical situations. And I want to say hats off to you, Commissioner Washington, for leading this effort, because this is one of the most times of the year where people really have to search within themselves. And we're in a season where a lot of people are hurting. Things are tight for a lot of people, but there are a few people who can bless, and I'm asking for those who are in a position to bless, let's do it the right way and let's do it in a stand-up way and make sure that we put a smile on these young people's face. So thank you, Commissioner. I just wanted to interrupt to say that because I hear your passion coming out about it. I know you've done this a few times before, and the children need your help, absolutely.
Thank you. Last thing is, this is our last meeting before the Thanksgiving holiday. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, not because we eat, but because, you know, I have a truly blessed and highly favored life, and I like to give gratitude for all of the things that have occurred in my life, even the bad. Can be grateful for those things because they've taught me lessons, but I hope that we go into this season and we look around our community and our own homes and see all of the blessings that we have. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you and everybody that is watching and will watch this in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Williams.
So it's been busy the last few weeks since we had our last board meeting. Our Stepping Up Initiative team, which included those that work in the courts, those that work in our jail, those that are actually leading our Stepping Up Initiative, we all got together for a retreat. This is the second retreat that we have had, and the overriding experience of that is that as you talk with people, do activities, and talk about your communication styles and your leadership styles, it helps you to understand who you're working with, and it helps to move the initiative forward. And this one was very successful. It was held at Lake Lanier again. The Georgia Community Service Board state organization had their conference at Lake Lanier starting the same day the retreat ended, so I didn't have to move. That is always interesting to hear the initiatives and the legislation going forward about mental health, about substance use, as well as developmental disabilities. There is a big concern about some of our folks who have developmental disabilities who are incarcerated, and the difficulty in finding correct placement for them. Obviously, jail is not a good place for someone who doesn't really have an adult capacity intellectually. And so there are there's ongoing work with that. The other big thing is that so much of our forensic mental health folks are treated and housed in our jails and prisons. And that is also a major concern. Commissioner Tanner is also working. Commissioner Tanner is the state commissioner for the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. He is working at making sure that we have access to regional crisis centers. That will, of course, assist in keeping people out of jail when they can get into treatment and helping them get what the services that they need. Interestingly, they have money available that they were going to put into the Gwinnett County Jail to send in a peer specialist and a transitional person, somebody to help them transition out of the jail. And Gwinnett just dragged their feet and just didn't end up doing it. So we are going to get those services in our jail. And so we can thank Gwinnett County for that. We appreciate that. I also had an opportunity to read the proclamation at the Teacher of the Year celebration last week. I love that. It focuses and it highlights on the best of the teachers. And they have had video on each individual teacher, showed them in their classrooms, working with the students, and it's really exciting. Dr. Charles Garner is the Rockdale County Public Schools Teacher of the Year for 24-25. He is a mathematics teacher over at the Magnet School. He's been teaching for 31 years, and his PhD is in mathematics also. But here's what I found really interesting. He writes and publishes his own textbooks, which are also used across the country. So we have some really talented teachers in Rockdale County. So that was always fun. And then the last thing was Friday morning, I think. I've lost track. Was I attended the Board of Health meeting, and that was interesting to hear. A lot of it had to do with the emergency that we have recently had in Rockdale County and their information, which I'm sure is public information. But they talked about the things that went well with the coordination, and I have to say, they sang the praises of Sharon Webb from EMA and said she was absolutely wonderful. She hadn't even been in her role as the director of EMA for very long and thrown right in this position. And they recognized that, but they said she was wonderful. So those are my comments.
All right. Well, I'm going to yield to Executive Director Rutledge. Any comments or announcements coming out of the clerk's office?
The only thing I want to announce is that Thursday we will have the zoning public hearing. It will be in here, but with the overflow in the auditorium. In the auditorium, and it starts at 1 o'clock. So just wanted to make sure we announce that.
Okay. All right. Chief Sanders, anything that we need to be made aware of as we prepare for the remainder of this week and our final meeting in December?
So you may have seen the decorations going up around the county buildings, the courthouse, and the tree is up. The Christmas tree lighting is on Thursday, November 21st at 6:30 p.m. So we are preparing for that and invite the community out.
All right, very good. So I want to take a moment and I want to say thank you to, in this Thanksgiving season, I really just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our Rockdale County employees. our employees go above and beyond the call of duty. And I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you. I also want to incorporate a thank you into our combined effort of the War on Litter. We do a spring and a fall version of the War on Litter, and we combine our efforts with the City of Conyers. So I want to say thank you to code enforcement specifically and our community improvement team and all of the other employees from the various departments that come out and participate. But I also want to say to our citizens, to the citizens of the City of Conyers and citizens of Rockdale County as a whole, we are constantly combating this issue of litter in and around our community. We have a dedicated community improvement team, and a part of their responsibility is to move some of this unsighted debris and trash that we see along the sides of our roads. I'm often asking folks that you report everything else. Please report these folks that you see tossing stuff out on the roadways, these illegal dumping. We need our citizens. We don't have enough police officers or enough deputies or enough community improvement people to be at every intersection or every crack and crevice of the county. When you see something, say something. Let's join forces in keeping our community clean. But back to my original message. Thank you to the citizens and thank you to all of our employees of Rockdale County for the fine work you do all year long. During this season of Thanksgiving, it's so important that we do, as Commissioner Washington made mention of, take a moment and be thankful and grateful for what you do have. Oftentimes we spend so much time figuring out and focusing on what we don't have. Let's be grateful for what we do have. Those are going to wrap up my comments this morning. We've taken care of a lot of business. We've got one more meeting. Again, I appreciate Executive Rucker telling us about our upcoming zoning meeting on this Thursday. And our final meeting to close out this year will be December the 10th. Is that correct? All right, very good. Now, let me ask, is there any reason why we should be having executive session this afternoon?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.